Okay, here we go. There are 3 questions today. This is April 17th, 18th. April 18th, there are 3 area questions that you had to do. The first question gives you this picture and says, what is the area of a single A, which would look like this, and a single B, which would look like this. This would be a single B. Okay, so in order for us to calculate it, the first thing we need to do is calculate the area of the red. And in order to do that, to be honest, if I was to delete this triangle, we don't need the triangle to calculate the area of all of the red, right? It's there because it's part of the second question. But in order to do that, what we would really do, hang on a second, is we calculate the area of the square, take away the area of the circle. Take away the circle. The area of the square, since it's 10 meters long, that square will be side squared, which is going to be 10 squared, which is going to be 100 meters squared. That's the area of the red square if nothing else existed. The circle, since this length here is 10, we think we have no measurements of the circle, but really, if I bring that down here, that diameter or that side length of the square is actually the same measurement as the diameter of the circle. So the radius for area is really 5, because if the whole thing is 10, then that distance there must be 5. So it's pi times 5 squared, which is 75 meters squared. So that means altogether, all 4 of these shapes here, all of the red, equals 25 meters squared. But one of them would be to take that 25 meters squared, which is all of the red, and divide it by 4, and we get 6.25 meters squared. That is the area of one of these A's. Okay, that's the answer for one of the A's, 6.25, or 25 divided by 4. And your second thing, we actually don't need, this time, if I put my circle here, we actually don't need this time the square anymore. The square is not needed for the B's, right? So we can delete that. So the area of the circle, which we already know, is going to be pi r squared, which we already know because we've already done it, is 75 meters squared. Take away the triangle, which is base times height divided by 2. Since the base of this, the length of it is 9, that's also the base. That's going to be 9. Multiplied by the height of the triangle, which we already said was 7, divided by 2. 9 times 7 is 63. And 63 divided by 2 is 31.5. That is the area of the triangle. So if I take the area of the circle, which is 75, and take away 31.5, that's the area of the triangle, I get this 43.5 as all of the white, right? I take that number and divide it by 3. Is that the right answer, by the way? Did I get the right answer? Did I make a mistake? Okay, that's good. The answer of one of these B's, therefore, is going to be a third of 43.5, or 14.5 meters squared. Okay, that's the area of a single B. Okay, because all of the white together was 43.5, so one of them is going to be a third of that. In your second question, you're given this picture. It says a circle has a radius of 5 meters. So if I was to draw that on here, so that's 5 meters. So pi r squared will be 3 times 5 squared, which is still that 75 meters squared red circle. And the rectangle has a length of 9 and a width of 4. So length of 9 and a width of 4. That white rectangle is cut out has an area of 36 meters squared. So if I subtract those two, I get 39 square meters as all of the red. All that red together would be 39 square meters. But we're only looking for just a single A plus a single B. This is a single A. This is a single B. And those two together are really half of all of the red. So if we know that all of the red is 39, if we divide that by 2, we would get 19.5 meters squared for A plus B. Because A plus B plus A plus B, all of it together, is this number. So 1A plus B would just be half of that number, which is 19.5. And your last question says an isosceles triangle has a length of 10 and a height of 8 with a circle of 8, a 6-meter diameter circle cut out of it. So if I was to redraw that triangle, and it's isosceles, it's supposed to be, I'll have to change that one. It's supposed to be equilateral. Uh-oh. We'll change that to equilateral because all three sides have to be the same length in order for those A's to be of equal length as well. So an equilateral triangle has a length of 10, so this is going to be 10 meters here. The height, actually it doesn't have to be because we really don't care about the other parts, but the height is going to be 8 meters, which means the area of that triangle is going to be half of 80, which makes it 40 meters squared. So the whole red triangle, if there was nothing cut out of it, would be 40 meters squared. This particular one here, did I make a mistake on that? No, it's good. Has a diameter of 6 meters, which makes the radius 3 meters. So I'm going to take away a circle that is pi r squared, or 3 times 3 squared, or 27 meters squared. So when I take the circle away from the triangle, I end up with this all red, it's 13 meters squared. But one of these A's that looks like this here is really a third of that. So if I take 13 and divide it by 3, so that makes 13 divided by 3 is 4.3 repeating. But the question says it must be exact, but you can't use a decimal. So 4.3 repeating is 4, and this decimal 3 repeating as a fraction is 1/3. So your answer that I was looking for, it's 4 1/3 meters squared.